mainly remember for his touring car exploits. The flag goes down, and the Capri was pretty quick out of the blocks in the middle as the Camaros sprung on their wheels, and the Rover did too. But it looks like it's Chris Ward got his nose ahead. Look, Patrick Watts in the rotary rocket coming up the grass on the inside. The Mazda RX7. It's cost him quite a few places, but we're riding on board now with 25. Emmanuel Pirot. Nigel Garrett in the green Camaro was hung out to dry on the outside. He's got problems, and he's going to get going though. He's lost about 10 or 12 places, something like that. He's running right down in mid-pack. And Graham Bryant also being a bit cautious, been overtaken by Emmanuel Pirot, but going to muscle his way through on the inside, perhaps. No. And Rick Woods made a good one. He's ahead of Emmanuel Pirot too.
Yeah, but one of the best starts was made by the number 10 Escort up into third place. Gerry Marshall on board there. So yes, the black and green Camaro, the Brute sponsored one, had so much trouble at the start. He's down, I can't count that high. Over 16, I'd reckon. Plays the Bastos, David Clark, Camaro in the thick of the battle, and then UFO, BMW, and the Simon is Camaro. Oh, did they touch? I'm fairly sure they were as close as you can.
Tim Harvey's there in the Rover, I think, as well, isn't he? But what a fabulous traffic jam over at Lavant. That is brilliant. Great view that was, as they bunched up into the double apex right-hander, but down the straight we're running again with Emmanuel Pirot, who ducked past the fast-starting Rick Wood into St Mary's corner. He's now behind Bryant and ahead of Bryant. Look at that, muscling down the inside. That's the Marlborough Rover. That's Tim Harvey, isn't it, going through?
Yeah, he certainly had the desire to make progress. Was picking off cars on every single corner, and the last one, as you said, the 530i has been pushed back down to about 7th or 8th place.
Did you see Nick Swift nudging a Capri to one side as he went into the chicane?
It doesn't surprise me one iota. But a good lead there by Chris Ward. He'll hand over at some point in the race, but to Gordon Shedden. What a strong driver lineup. Leading by 1.6 seconds from John Young, who started the middle of the front row in the Capri, and then Gerry Marshall from row 3 in the Escort up to 3rd place.
Yes, indeed, and David Clark 4th in 9. 21 is Graham Bryant, and then that's Poirot, and 74 is Harvey in behind him. 1 or 2 cars with transponder issues.
Best battle though, 4th, 5th, 6th. The Bastos and the Simon Camaros are right behind them as they go into the dip. It's Tim Harvey in the Rover. He will pick his way past them very, very soon indeed. The speed with which he got onto their tail, quite remarkable. In fact, he's being held up by them, but the first 3 are pulling ever further clear. Now the Simon Camaro. Graham Bryant takes a look up the inside of David Clark.
And the other Camaro, the black one, down in 16th. Which is terrifying. Very quick in a straight line, the car of Bryant. They got that well sorted, freshly done. Only drove it, I think, the first time last week, but it's Camaro who's there being chased by a brace of Rovers coming down into Woodcote corner. Tim Harvey up the inside of David Clark.
There's no time like the present if your name is Tim Harvey, and he's made that move stick very, very well indeed. In fact, is the Camaro about to lose another place? Yes, it is. The Daily Express Rover has gone through as well, so really positive, and that's Tiffany Dell in the Daily Express car. Wall of sound coming into your commentary box on it from the start-finish straight.
So Tim Harvey, Tiffany Dell battle is joined, Rover battle, and Tiff, I think, might have the legs on Tim.
Well, they're pretty close together down the inside towards, through at forward. The bumpers flapping on the back of Tiff's car. And there's Ward in 6, Young in 18, Gerry Marshall going well in number 10, very well in the Escort.
Great visual on the big screens, how far clear Chris Ward is from John Young's. I must say the number 18 Capri sounded a little bit down in the dumps as it came past me, still holding down 2nd place. But look, 3 abreast in the middle of the pack. Patrick Watts deciding the track is better than the grass, and the rotary Mazda going inside Pirot. So there Pirot's recording that for posterity with his forward facing camera. Obviously wishes he wasn't recording it, but record he was.
Yeah, Patrick Watts, who was 9th at the end of that last lap, behind Rick Wood. And let's see, yes, Garrett up to 15th. He was 16th at the end of the first lap. And that's going to leave Stuart Graham a lot of work to do. Rick Wood there, under pressure from Emmanuel Pirot, goes down the inside.
Well, more to the point, it's almost the other way round, because he's just come past Emmanuel Pirot. And Pirot really starting to struggle. I suppose if he decides the car's not behaving well, he can hand it over to teammate Berger ASAP once we've got past, I think, the 13-minute mark in the race.
Nigel Garrett making up places from after a dreadful start. Can he get past the Motorcraft Capri, not at Madgwick.
No, so Mike Whitaker hangs on. How far clear is Chris Ward? He's at my feet at
5.7 seconds in the last round. David Clark's car's not running terribly well, I don't think.
Yeah,
had problems yesterday.
Yeah, he did indeed. And now Gerry Marshall in third place has got the Simon's Graham Bryant-driven Camaro right on his tail. 3
abreast into the kink, and Pirot closes the door on the outside on Nigel Garrett, who's looming large in the Brute car. To the Simonised Camaro, car polish manufacturer Simonised, well up the road in the hands of Graham Bryant, who's driving it beautifully.
And Nigel Garrett's got the cheeky Mini of Nick Swift.
He has.
You could almost do the whole program looking at the cheeky Mini, and Nick Swift is leaving him little space, but in return Nigel Garrett says, no, I do need some tarmac. So he chops across his nose, and the loss of momentum obviously costs the Mini big time. He's lost 2. Another Capri has gone past him. Now he's got the Dolly Sprint with, is that Ken Clark, number 15? No, it's Rob Gravett in the black and silver. Dolly having a nibble.
That's going really well, isn't it?
First 2 long-time teammates, Chris Ward and John Young, are just way clear of the rest. They're 7.3 seconds. But up into third has come Graham Bryant, ahead of Gerry Marshall in the gallant Ford Escort, and being attacked now up into Madgwick. Tiffany Dell goes past Gerry Marshall at Madgwick, and next target is up the road is the Camaro, but as one Rover goes past, if he looks in his mirrors, Gerry Marshall's going to see Tim Harvey in that Dayglow car.
Emanuele lost 2 places on the way into the chicane. Nick Swift and Rob Gravett in the Dolomite.
Well, Harvey, you're quite right, is going to pick off the Escort very soon. Escort just started so well with Gerry Marshall, and there goes the place change up into 5th for Tim Harvey, back into 6th for the fast-starting Gerry Marshall in the snub-nosed Escort that got off the 3rd row. Up Bastos, David Clark, Camaro running onto the grass at St Mary's. Managed to hold it together, lost a few more places, I'm afraid. There he is really struggling. One of the Capris trying to go past him
now. It's
now.
last year's winner. And it's Michael Whitaker, already see him out in the TVR, and now pedalling on to try to catch Clark. Their score's quick, isn't it?
It really is. He just started so well, but actually another car that's got a problem, I just want to throw it in, is Emanuele Pirot, unfortunately. Seems to be going backwards down the order, much like the Bastos Camaro.
Well, that car started, in the middle of the 3rd row, so in 7th place. Pirot, though, down the order now in about 18th, isn't he?
Yeah, losing a lot of time. Patrick Watts, well worth watching. The Capri's having a great deal of fun. And the number 2 Capri with Frank Stippler on board, really in the thick of the action down there.
Watch for that Camaro, the 21 car of Bryant, because once Ollie gets on board, it is going to really fine. It's going well with Graham in it. Graham's on a 29.763, and in fairness, the quickest lap of the race is to Chris Ward on a 28.7. So he's kept the leaders in sight and certainly keeping them honest. Gordon Shedden won't hang about, though.
No, and this time Nigel Garrett has made it past the Capri at Madgwick.
Oh, we've got problems. A very smoky Rover. Hold on, let's work out. Is that Tiffany Dell's? Tiff has pulled off on the grass just before St Mary's. It went pop on the run down out of Ford Water. Had that little bit of bodywork damage. I don't think that's... is it just an exhaust problem? Anyhow, I'm sure when Tiff gets out, if I look away from my screen, I'll be able to tell by his gesticulations, because he's not a man who knowingly keeps his arms by his side when he's got a message to impart.
Look at this battle. Rick Wood, David Clark. I think Nigel Garrett was in behind him as well.
Oh, Gerhard Berger
getting ready, wasn't he? And there's Garrett's behind. Then we've got the Belga Capri, the Stippler in Paul Pocciol's Asso car, replica of the Vince Woodman car at Period. The John Mowat Mini in the hands of Nick Swift. Really exciting.
I just wanted to see, I said I wanted to see what Tiff did by way of gesticulation. He got out, put his arms out sideways, and just lowered his head, the sort of, what can you do, as the steam pours out under the bonnet. It had gone so well, got up into 5th place there. 4th place at the start of the last lap.
No, Pirot's not going to get a go. It's gone lame, unfortunately. Still smoking the Rover. So 4th now is 74, which is Tim Harvey. Then it's Gerry Marshall.
Oh, we've just had a Capri. Sorry, I've turned to my right. So busy looking at Tiff. A Capri has hit the barriers very hard. There must be oil. We've got the Simon's Camaro spinning. Is it going to... Oh, it stopped just short of the Capri, out of the kink before St Mary's. John Young came through very slowly indeed, but it's the Esso Capri.
That's Stippler, isn't it? And Graham Bryant's there.
Mark Fowler's car is the one that, and somehow Bryant has got around the back of that cluster, but now we've got about 8 cars coming in, another one on the grass behind. Oh, golly gosh, that was skin of the teeth, was it not?
It's the Fowler car, is it, from down the grid?
Yeah, Fowler car from down the grid.
Sorry, I mistook them.
Don't worry, and Tiff is oblivious to this. He can't see it. It's just tucked around the corner from where he's waving toward his friends out on the circuit. But the compression of cars was just what you didn't want with 2 cars on the grass on the exit of the kink. But well done, gentlemen. And the Bryant
was Bryant lapping Fowler or just running with the oil?
No, Fowler had already gone off.
He'd hit the wall.
And hit the wall, bounced back, and there was clearly something loose on the circuit causing the cars to go round. And in the end, Bryant drove behind the Capri
that's what he did.
And rejoined.
Triplex Capri 45 coming into the pits.
Yeah, well, that had been limping slowly around the corner. He could have been involved in that incident.
It's sounding very rough.
And then John Young, I just looked up and he suddenly came off the power through St Mary's, so the lead would have gone out even more. 8.7 seconds between Ward in the lead and the Rover and Young. Young certainly had to lift.
So we've got Garrett in the 1 car right on David Clark's tail. They're 8th and 9th at the moment. Put 7 laps in. It's 6 Ward, 18 Young, 8 seconds behind. Harvey is now 3rd. In 4th place is Watts in the Mazda. 5th is Gerry Michael. 6th is the Bryant Camaro. 7th is Rick Wood. 8th in 123. 8th is David Clark.
Oh, Marcus, I just got to cut across you. Just watching how the cars got around past the
safety car.
The kink. Well, just as that happened, Nick Swift drove off the circuit just past the nose of the stricken Capri and has parked. Well, he's obviously pulled off to talk to Tiffany Dell. He's parked at St Mary's and he's hopping out. Can't see what the problem was.
Oh, and we've got the lead car was about to come into the pits. The very, very late decision. He saw the safety car and then he's ducked out. So. That was very, very close to being in the end of the pit wall. I think the pit lane may well just be closed because the safety car is out there. But that's cost him a little bit of time. The gap's come down to 6.6.
So that cost him a couple of seconds or so.
We haven't seen the...
We're heading towards the 13 minutes when... without the safety car, the pit lane should be open.
Yeah, the pits weren't open, and that was what the problem is. It was a mistake there, and he corrected it. But what's happened now, the safety car has compressed everybody. So after 8 laps, onto lap 9, it's brought them all back together. And Tim Harvey is going to be 3rd in 74.
But Marcus, he would have been premature coming into the pits.
He would have been premature coming into the pits, absolutely.
Set the clock going a little too fast. But it should be pointed out, Patrick Watts, we've had little cameo rolls from him. He has gone so well. He was from down and about the 5th row in the Mazda. He's up in 4th place in the number 14 Mazda, just in behind Tim Harvey, of course.
That's Nidell's car blowing up.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if that's caused oil on the circuit.
I think that's yes, inevitably.
I still can't work out why Nick Swift pulled off, but he's sitting down there with Tiff, scratching his beard. So there's all the oil. Now let's have a look in the background. Oh, the Dolly got very sideways.
On the oil, and the Alpha's gone as well.
Ah, that would be on the. Okay, that's on the run down the hill. They got it back together, got onto the circuit, but unfortunately, I think the next person down will probably be Mark Fowler. Oh, he's already in.
No, he's already gone.
He's already gone. Okay, now look here. There was the Triplex Capri. That should be not far ahead of John Young. And then that gets going again. So in about 15 seconds, we will then. Now look at the replay of. Nick Swift, as you can see, he's on the grass because he's bouncing away.
No, he's got a problem, his hands up.
Yeah, well, this is when he retired. He pulled over. That's not the sort of rodeo ride that Nick Swift enjoys. He prefers to be on the tarmac, but why the long face? Well, we know why the long face. And we should be doing that because he always provides some of the very best footage of any race he's in from his mighty minis.
Doing sort of Basil 40 and sort of hitting it with a stick.
And what a good thing we're not lip readers.
Aren't you?
Fortunately not.
Good news is the flatbeds are coming out around the circuit. The Capri's already been pulled back from just after kink ahead of St Mary's, but obviously we need to have 2 more cars here that need shifting. We've got Tiffany Dell's Rover and just behind it Nick Swift's Mini. And sorry for not being able to call Mark Fowler's stricken Capri before, because I had to look at the screen and I couldn't look to my right, and just almost hidden by the bushes is the Capri, but it bounced away from the wall and did sit out. But a good avoidance there from Graham Bryant in the number 21 Camaro, just on your screens there. To go on the grass, big grassy moment, round the back of the broken Capri and get going again. But all plans in the pit lane, everyone has to sort of slow right down. We're into the pit stop window, but the pit lane is closed behind the safety car, so the drivers have to keep on going around, and all the tactics they've dreamt up before the race, of course, have to be reappraised.
That's right, let's put everyone back together, which is interesting. That's going to put that Gerry Marshall Escort, mighty giant killer, up there. We've got 3 Camaros running in 4, split by Rick Wood's Gitan Capri.
And Nigel Garrett ruining that, bogging it down at the start, cost him a lot of places.
He got eased out onto the grass at the first corner. He just lost a lot of places. There's R. Anthony M. Reid. I didn't know he raced in specs, did you?
It's a special handicap because Methuen are leading. They've
maybe it's extra points for racing with specs.
That's more like it.
That's probably what's happened.
Yes. But yes, I mean, the black and green Camaro is so strong in the past 2 years. That manoeuvre at the first corner, it was probably as low as almost 20th place, Marcus.
Came around 16th on the first lap.
It was 16th at the end, but 20th at the time. Andrew Jordan, well, I'm sure his house captain's blazer is underneath.
Now this is what happened. We're going to see what happened to Chris Ward. Here he comes.
Safety cars out onto the circuit.
Ooh.
He wasn't actually that close to the Porsche, in fairness.
He was waved off, I think, maybe by his team. Oh, he saw the.
I think he saw the
safety car. Yeah.
It was a reflex action, I think. Safety car, quick, think, and he gave himself just enough time to think. No, hold on. So back out onto the circuit. The pit lane quiet instead of busy, and the cars continuing to go around the track. There is third in that line is the XXX Capri, but that is not third overall. Leading the race is the Ward Rover. Second place, John Young in the red Capri. Third is actually the fourth car in that line.
The XXX Capri is actually the only car to have made a pit stop and come out again.
Is the bonnet of the Rover deliberately up by an inch at the back? Will it be thumped down in the pit lane?
No. It'll be flicking air over the windscreen and reducing the drag factor. That's Theo Pafitis waiting to take over from
he can hear you,
Christoforo. He's probably got his earwig in.
You have to be careful what we say, Theo.
I've always liked him.
He's our favourite dragon.
So, but, nerves are jangling standing in the pit lanes. Theo's been doing as much driving as he can, but, still short in years of experience. And you just want to focus, you just want to get in the car, but this has slightly changed the complexion of the race, and there's going to be a real scurry into the pits as soon as the pit lane opens, ready for racing again.
Stuart Graham and masquerading as Hans Stuck, Nigel Greensill.
Stuart also racing in spectacles, gets to us all in the end.
Yeah, and Nigel Greensill just wants to look cool in those sun specs, doesn't he?
He does. Shades. I wonder what happened to Nick Swift.
Yeah, he just pulled off, but with no sort of prior obvious steam from under the bonnet of the little Mini, but just parked there, having a long chat with Tiff now.
I have to say, I do love the livery on the Gitan Capri, which is a replica of one that raced in period.
Such a good colour, isn't it?
It's a fantastic
sharp
colour.
Blue.
Yeah.
Well, touring car drivers, eh? Adam Morgan getting stuck in down there. There's Flash Gordon,
Flash
on
Gordon.
the pit wall, waiting to take over the race leading Rover that Chris Ward gave us a little scare with when he seemed to be diving towards the pits. Waved yellow flags, the checker. Go on, Marcus.
Of course, it was 10 seconds advantage after 6 laps that Chris Ward had, and it's been evaporated.
Well, here's a replay. This is where
Nick pulls off.
Just pulled off.
Yeah. There's going to be a mass diving for the pit lane as soon as it reopens.
And that's going to cause issues, isn't it? Because it'll be very busy. It won't be too long before the stricken Capri is hauled onto the back of the flatbed.
It's onto the flatbed now. I think they're just tidying it up, waiting to drive it away. In fact, the drivers all see that because they're just coming down the hill out of Ford Water. There's the number 5 Capri.
Can we have some more time, please, Mr. Tyke? Another 4 or 5 minutes.
They've been very generous earlier today, but you can't go on doing that forever, unfortunately. So it's Rover, Capri, Rover, Mazda, Escort, and then Camaro. It's surprising it's back to 6th.
Some pit lane pugilism. We like that.
Yes.
Okay, the last car in the line is the Peter Clements, the two-tone green Escort RS2000, the Mark 1 model, and that's just driven past the flatbed with the rather bent SO liveried Capri now is driven away past me at St Mary's.
I think I might put a shilling on Ollie Bryant when he gets aboard the Simonized Camaro.
You're going to unlock the shilling box.
Absolutely.
What a good idea.
Yeah.
Does the flatbed come all the way back to
I think it'll
paddock?
I think it'll probably pull off at Lavant.
Yes.
There is scope to be done. But in the shot, you can see the Rover that's leading the race. You see the Capri that's chasing. The blue and white Capri with the Triple X livery is not in the battle. That's a lap down, having made a pit visit already. Not a pit stop, but a pit visit.
We're here 6 minutes, 6 extra minutes.
I like this. You ask and it happens.
I know.
Now, when the light goes off on the safety car, does the pit lane automatically open? Can they dive in? Or will they have to do one more lap before pit lane opens? We'll see.
We will see. There's another little twist to be looking for.
Little nuance of this race.
And of course, don't want to raise the point, but I'm going to anyhow, because I noticed Stuart Graham in the pit lane, and we know Nigel Garrett's out in the number 1 Camaro, so at least they're getting the pit window right thing. As long as Nigel comes in before the pit window closes, then we won't have 3 years in a row.
I've had a wag from my left just add a little comment. Does that mean that the race that was 45 minutes, that was reduced to 40, is now going to be 46?
Exactly that. Exactly that.
You get a bonus minute.
Yeah, that must have been my brother's O-level maths coming in handy.
They always said it would.
Lights still on the Porsche.
What, 40 years later or something?
Any sign of the flatbed?
No, it's I can't see it.
Here is the flatbed. It's taking the straight.
Oh, here it comes. Okay, so
through the chicane.
Flatbed into the paddock, but just too late, perhaps, for the safety car lights to go out.
No, I think there's time at plenty. He's only at Lavant at the moment. So
the truck's out of the way.
He's done a bit of a mischief to that Capri.
Yes.
Your local Ford dealer will put it right.
Lights are off on the Porsche pace car. So the safety car coming in on this lap, which is lap 13.
Safety car bolts away.
Tim Harvey isn't as close as he wants to be in 3rd place. He's got the Triple X Capri in the way, but he's several car lengths behind that. And down in the pit lane, Stuart Graham, Nigel Greensall, Flash Gordon and et al. Waiting to take over. Now, how many of these drivers are thinking, I'll do 1 extra lap at speed? And how many going, I'm just coming straight in? Because the pit window, it's not open forever.
Who's Al?
Al? Et al. He's in the Triple X Capri. We haven't talked about him very much.
Now then. Staying out for at least another lap.
Okay, Rick Wood seems to be the first of the pit visitors in the blue Capri.
Rick Wood's come in, and the Stippler Capri is in.
And Watts immediately picks off Tim Harvey up into 3rd place in the rotary Mazda without even using the grass as he did at the start. So really going well. Patrick Watts, Tim Harvey, ex-touring car Dicers, and the Triple X Rover in the pit lane there. That's being Adam Brindle handing over to Nigel Greensall. We saw him waiting. Now, is Harvey going to stay in 4th place, or is he going to be picked off by the chasing Camaro behind, the Simon's Camaro with Graham Bryant on board? And that, of course, as Marcus is looking forward to Ollie Bryant taking over at some stage soon.
Barwick is one of the people who stopped to hand, Morley to Reed, Barwick to O'Neill. So we had about 6 or 7 cars come in at that point. Yes, indeed, 7 cars. Those were 74. 1, 2, 3, 2, 33, 12, 3, 60 and 16.
Quite a good move to get into the pit lane early. It's not too crowded.
Well, I think the luxury for Rick Wood, he could wait to see how many of the cars ahead of him, and about the first 10 went on, so he knew that was 10 fewer cars potentially in the pit lane, and got in first. So I think that was a very good call from him.
Yep, here's the leader. He's managed to stretch away a little bit from John Young.
Is he coming in?
He's got his Total Control Racing
he is.
car behind.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. Chris Ward going through again, as is John Young, as is Watts in 3rd place.
Harvey's in from 4th.
Yep.
In the background.
As is Nigel Garrett in the Camaro.
Gerry Michael's in as well. Certainly we've got 2 of the Camaros in.
Now we'll see Busy.
We will.
Dolly comes out of the pit. That was being handed over by Rob Gravett to Ken Clark.
I'm surprised that Graham Bryant stayed out for another lap.
Long left-hand doors on the Camaros opening. Stewart gets shoved into the Brute Camaro.
So the escort that was started by Gerry Michael now handed over to Chris Sanders. That's back onto the track. That was the one that rose up to 3rd place in the opening lap. Bit of a push start for the car that Tim Harvey has climbed out of, and that's back into the race again, the Marlborough Rover.
We're going to see the stagger begin to unwind.
Well, that shows how much place the Gitan Capri has gained. That was the first one into the pits, and it was way behind Tim Harvey's Rover when it made its pit stop, and it's come out, and just as Tim Harvey has handed over to Andrew Bruce, the places have changed, so big gain for the blue Capri.
Stuart Graham's got a Capri which appears to be
the Garrett.
Is it just waiting at the lights, or is it?
There's a queue waiting to get out of the pit lane, including the Garrett Graham Camaro.
In comes Bryant, in comes John Young as well. So it's now at 15 laps. Chris Ward in the green Rover, blue Rover number 6. 14 is Watts in the Mazda in 2nd place.
Grassy moment, bit of rodeo for whoever is on board number 2 at the moment. Is that Frank Stippler? I think he's handed over to Paul Pocciol. Pocciol, who managed to get it straight and then got it a bit sideways, and round it went on the exit of St Mary's, but he stayed off the ploughed bit. That's the tactic you need to engage when you're on the grass there.
So Ollie Bryant now in the Simonized Camaro. The 3rd car not to have stopped is Whitaker, who's just on his best lap, a 31. Number 8, no. Bryant goes back out. This is Ollie Bryant now out into 4th place.
Yeah, just behind the now Chris Sanders driven RS2000, the number 10. So that battle should be well, very interesting. But you do feel Graham Bryant, combination of Graham Bryant, Camaro power, and his sheer will to win. I think we'll see that place swapping around the battle over 3rd.
Brindle Greensel Rover had a huge moment coming out of the chicane, really squirrely. In comes Patrick Watts in the Mazda. Another good slide out of the chicane from the Belga Capri.
It's Chris Ward giving Gordon Shedden the last few minutes.
Leader coming out of chicane and taking another lap.
I think he's getting quite close to the closing element of the pit window, having given us the kittens by
couple of laps, I'd have thought.
Yeah, coming in almost before it was open.
Chris Ward's driver's window was halfway down last lap. It's all the way down this lap.
That's so he can shout insults in sort of Grand Prix du Rock style at his pal on the pit
2nd
wall.
and 3rd place cars, 14 Watts handing over to Ian Cowley, 8 Mike Whitaker handing over to Jordan.
Gosh, it's all happening down at St Mary's in Nick Swift's Mini. Something strange has happened. Nick Swift has lost the power of speech, and I think Tiff as well, because the Belga Capri came bouncing across the grass on the inside at St Mary's, missed both of their cars and rejoined the circuit, but they've now resorted to gesticulation. But they can't quite work out what happened there. That was a wonderful little vignette, but quite scary for all concerned. Now, is Ward coming in this time around? You can't tell, of course, as he turns in.
He's got 57 seconds in hand.
Yes,
and he is coming in. He's in, finally, on 17 laps, Chris Ward, with a big lead. But everyone behind him basically has stopped, so...
Very slick driver change, must say. He threw himself out of the car, and then Flash Gordon folding himself in. Now, how big's the gap going to be when they... rejoin? Oh, John Young's Capri with Steve Soper on board on the grass on the exit of St Mary's, but keeps it together.
So it hasn't crossed the timing line yet, the lead car, 17 laps.
But a nice quick pit stop, and
he's
not
out.
held up at the exit to the pit lane.
what was 57 odd seconds over Ollie Bryant is reduced quite considerably, but we'd expect that. And Matt Neal, who's just bounced down the grass going to the chicane, set the fastest lap of the race last time round. That's not going to work that time, though.
It's funny when you're looking at a shot and something catches your eye in the background. In that case, it was that huge Bastos Camaro bouncing left and then right and getting it all together. So well held. But let's keep an eye on the lap
Bryant,
times.
the fastest lap of the race at 26.617. 17 seconds is the gap between Shedden on his out lap and Bryant.
Chris Ward explaining how it's been going. Looks quite happy.
Well, he didn't to start with. By the end, he seemed okay, but it seemed really quite intense there, suggesting maybe all wasn't right. But he's done his bit, and with just over a quarter of an hour, it's now Gordon Shedden's turn to keep it on the island and probably even extend the lead. But let's see, because we can tell that Matt Neal's pressing on in his Camaro that he took over from David Clark, the number 9 Camaro, in 3rd place, and he's not that far behind the Bryant Simonis Camaro, which you see in the screens, number 21.
Methwood and house captain Anthony Reid 10th in the Dolomite Sprint at the moment.
Just under quarter of an hour to go.
So there is Matt Neal in the Bastos Camaro, and Chris Sanders giving chase in the RS2000.
No, is that Camaro slowing?
What was that? The escort going
the
past?
body language of the car
like
suggests that it's not going that quickly.
Maybe that grassy moment has upset it.
Or maybe whatever's causing the problem now was what put him on the grass.
11 seconds now, and that time Bryant took 6 seconds out of Gordon Shedden. It's the left tyre that's flat, rear tyre's flat on the Camaro. He shredded the tyre, and in he comes from 3rd place.
We always talk about the left rear taking the beating at Goodwood.
So, do they have any spare Chevy Camaro wheels down there, I wonder? That's another question. And that's going to put the Whittaker-Jordan Capri up into... They have got a spare wheel, which is a good effort.
But lots of nuts to undo. Rover's back together again.
Just looking to see the lap times that Steve Soper's managing in 5th place. He's just set that car's fastest lap not long ago, actually lapping well, whereas the previous lap he ran on the grass. So smooth. Oh dear, it's so frustrating, isn't it? Battle for 8th place, just going past me. A Marlboro Rover between a Triplex Rover and a Triplex Dolomite. All good stuff. Cars we saw race so hard and for so long in period, but the Triplex Dolomite really is fancying a go, and that's Anthony Reid, Maximum Attack, the 2 red Capris together.
Yes, that's Soper coming past, isn't it? Coming past Jordan. So it's 7.8 seconds, 1 to 2 now. Ollie Bryant closing in. A 30 that time for Shedden, a 27 flat for Ollie Bryant.
What we really need, Marcus, is Henry Hope Frost to go and have a quick word with Chris Ward, because I wasn't entirely sure Chris was happy, judging by his gesticulations just after he handed the car over to Gordon Shedden.
I think it's a suspicion of a misfire.
And I just wonder if he wanted to stay out as long as he could before handing over to Gordon, so he could monitor what was happening with the misfire as it developed, if it is indeed a misfire. Because there was no reason for him otherwise to stay out so long, and still the Bastos Camaro sits there waiting for that tyre to be changed.
There is the lead car.
It's not able to make a lot of ground on that Capri, is it?
No, not finding it easy.
Gobbling it up with a 3.5 litre V8 under the bonnet. And here is the chaser, and it's Ollie Bryant.
Last time it was 7.8 seconds on the start-finish line. It does look less, and the clock is ticking down. Just under 12 minutes remaining in the race. Marcus, let's see what the gap is between Shedden in the lead Rover.
Shedden a 29.7. Bryant.
He did a 27 last time.
A 27.4. So it's down to 5.4 seconds. 5.4 seconds still with 11.5 minutes to go. It's doable at this rate of catching.
So 2 seconds lost in 1 lap, almost precisely. So Ollie Bryant, in 21 Camaro is now giving chase with a target that's getting larger in front of him, so that's rather encouraging for him.
Chris Sanders is going like a dingbat. He's in the 31s, but he is being caught inevitably. And into the pits has come the second of the red Capris. That's the Whittaker Jordan car. That looks like it's out of the race, unfortunately.
Well, he was running in about 5th place, so everyone else steps up one. That'd be good news for Anthony Reid. He'll gain a place. Watson Cowley have just gone past on aggregate. The number 14 Mazda. There is that red number 8 Capri in the pits.
Bonnet up.
Okay, I think the next place change will be the battle for 3rd place, because Chris Sanders is being caught really rather quickly in the RS2000 number 10 Escort.
Stuart Graham's into 11th place, number 1, the Brute Camaro.
Yeah, Steve Soper in 4th place, the number 18 Capri started from the middle of the front row. By John Young is catching the 3rd place Escort very quickly.
28.7, a PB for Gordon Shedden for that car.
It came past here sounding very crisp.
But it's 4.4 seconds. 4.4 again, Brian quicker by about a second. It did sound good, yeah. Chris Sanders is in 3rd place with the Escort with the brightest headlights of any Escort I've ever seen.
I don't think he's going to hold on to 3rd place for long, because Steve Soper is really hunting him down. But gosh, Shedden is still attacking. I just wondered if he was actually brakes, but he's locked the brakes going into puff of tyre smoke as he went into St Mary's. Slightly wayward line. Now he's got the Belga Capri in his sights. That's a lap down. That's the one that went vaulting across the grass just past Nick Swift's Mini not so long ago. But that should be dispatched someone with Avon straight. But now Steve Soper in 4th place, but not for much longer in the red Capri. He's right on the tail of Chris Sanders' Escort, and he should make short work of that. In fact, he doesn't even hang around to make short work of it.
Anthony Reid going past Andrew Bruce. Second place. Reid going up into he's up into 8th place now.
Stuart Graham up into 10th.
The Andrew Bruce car still with a funny dicky transponder, and yes, now he's into 8th. Reid, so leader goes through, and the Camaro is closer again.
New fastest lap of the race as he gave chase.
2.3 seconds. Ollie Bryant 26.563. Bear in mind, pole was what? Let's try and find it for you. I've got it to hand. It's a straight fight now, and looks like Ollie Bryant can see his quarry up ahead. But it's the reigning PTCC champion Gordon Shedden, twice a titleist, the Scot who leads the way. Soper now 3rd in the car 18.
He's nearly half a minute back from the 2nd place Ollie Bryant, number 21 Camaro, but in turn that was at the start of the lap 2.3 seconds down on the race leading Rover. Gordon Shedden on board. That is coming down, and coming down with every straight of the circuit.
Yeah, Greensall's got Cowley in the Mazda, so Nigel Greensall in Adam Brindle's Rover up into 6th place, kind of a 12, ahead of the 14 Mazda. And Anthony Reid's also chasing down the Mazda, gaining it a couple of seconds. Here are the leaders, they're nose to tail in the chicane on lap 23. Chris Ward looking concerned, not even a hint of a smile. It's a grimace from the JD Classics pit.
Lights ablaze on the Bryant Camaro.
He impressed Shedden to a personal best for that car, but a 28.5 doesn't bear comparison to a 27.1. Coming down through the long right-handed kicks, Ollie Bryant closing in.
Place change for 10th. Stuart Graham has moved ahead of the Gravit Wood Dolly out the back of the circuit, so another place gained. But the Camaro we're all watching is the number 21 version. Simon is sponsorship with Graham Bryant starting the race, and Ollie Bryant now on board and closing down to under a second away from the tailgate of the number 6 Rover that's led from the outset of the race.
Nose to tail, very much nose to tail. Lights ablaze on the Camaro.
You're going to have to go the long way round, Ollie.
I think he has made it.
He's done it. Pure grunt.
Maybe not.
But no, Shedden comes back underneath him. Absolutely fantastic. 6 minutes to go.
Now the Camaro's grunt takes it past the Rover.
New leader then, car 21. Oliver Bryant in the car started by Father Graham, and Gordon Shedden isn't going to let him go. Steve Soper, winner of the Alaman Trophy with David Cuff last night in the GT40s, progressing nicely in third place.
It's not over at the front, Marcus.
It's not over.
Look how Gordon Shedden is really attacking the back half of the circuit and close right in again. When we get to the Lavin Straight, though, you do feel the grunt of the Camaro should have it pulling clear. But in the corners, Shedden is giving his absolute all in an attempt to get back into the lead in the number 6 Rover.
But the Rover might be kinder on its tyres than the Camaro. No. Shedden dropping back a bit. Now here's
only by a length or so.
Well, it's just to show how sideways Shedden was getting in the approach to St Mary's, but not for want of trying, I think.
No, he's dropped back a long way now. He's got it really sideways on the grass at Woodcote, Gordon Shedden, and that's the end of the challenge. I do declare. Car's still going, but he's dropped back a long way this time through. He's wide out over the curbs. It goes to 4 seconds. 4 seconds. All that early lead that Chris Ward built up, squandered by the apparition of the safety car. Fastest lap of the race, meanwhile, Matt Neal, a 1:26.464.
Oh, what might have been, because of course he was not far. He was literally on the about 2, 3, 4 car lengths back behind the number 21 Camaro when that happened, and that is now leading the race with Ollie Bryant on board.
Gerry Marshall and Chris Sanders are having a fabulous race. Personal best for that car by Chris Sanders, 1:31.405. And while Nigel Greensword is gradually closing, it is only gradual. We've got Morgan between them. Morgan in the 32s, Greensword in 29s. He's taking a couple of seconds out. But here's what happened down at Woodcote Corner. Yes, the Rover just ran out of grip, didn't it? Completely out of grip, just slithered out down the outside.
I would still like to have word with either of those drivers after the race to find what it was that slowed Ward, and it's clearly giving problems as well because Shedden's having to overdrive that car. Maybe it hasn't got enough brakes.
Used its tyres or brakes or both.
Graham Bryant.
That's Graham Bryant looking pensive. Looks like an expectant father, in fact. That's indeed what he is.
Well, Ollie Bryant driving beautifully. You can see he's really stretched his legs. 5.8 seconds clear of the Rover after that mishap for Gordon Shedden last time, and a far more, how should we say, measured approach to St Mary's this time. Still clouting the curb from Shedden, but the gap will maybe even have almost doubled by the time they get to the start-finish line. Stuart Graham in the thick of battle. Just fighting over 9th and 10th places and just trying to get the car in front out of the way, and Graham really working very hard in the big black and green Camaro just behind the Marlborough liveried Rover, picking off the Triple X Dolomite down there.
Indeed, that's looking great. We've got the Rover, Camaro, Triumph Dolomite Sprint and the little rotary Mazda all together.
Anthony Reid driving the car that was in 8th place, which is the number 16 Dolomite. Where does he drop to 10th?
Stuart Graham up into 7th in car 1. Reid 8th. Oh, no, we've got to slot in the Rover, haven't we? That's got the dodgy.
Yes.
There he goes. Yes, the dodgy transponder.
Just a minute to go coming up.
27 laps down, 7.4 seconds between first and second. '16 Anthony Reid driving like the wind in the Triumph Dolomite Sprint.
But just to confuse the mix, he's now got the race leader right behind him, Ollie Bryant, coming through in the 21 Camaro. 30 seconds still to tick through on the clock. Is that going to be enough to start one more lap, or is this the final lap? He can afford to back off. He has a lead of 7.5 seconds ahead of the Shedden Rover, which he can no longer see.
They'll run out of time, I think.
I think they will. He's still got to get through Woodcote, through the chicane.
And their car's ahead of him.
Yep, the sign has come up. This is the final lap of the race. So victory after this chicane has been negotiated will go to the Bryants. Graham, the father, started the car, and Ollie Bryant, the son, coming through to take victory. So Camaros take the plaudits in 2016.
What a fantastic race. I should have put my shilling on earlier, shouldn't I?
Yes, back in the box for another decade.
Didn't count. So Graham and Ollie Bryant win in 21. And that's a bit of a half a smile from Graham, and that's going to be a nice sweetener after the problems with the GT40 yesterday that was going so well. And in second place, Chris Ward and Gordon Shedden. Chris Ward, yesterday's qualifying heat winner. Gordon Shedden, BGCC champion in the Rover. Third place, one of Britain's greatest touring car drivers of all time, Steve Soper, in John Young's Ford Capri, car number 18. And a magnificent fourth is going to be the little Escort, number 10 of Gerry Marshall and Chris Sanders, being caught towards the end, but holding on well. Next up is going to be Adam Morgan, isn't it, in the Gitin Capri, and right behind him Nigel Greensall in Adam Brindle's Rover. They finished 0.9 of a second apart. In 5th and 6th places. 7th is Stuart Graham. Big belch of backfire there going past to the black Camaro. Stuart Graham pulls that Fabergé car back up the order to 7th place, and Andrew Bruce's Rover is going to be the last unlapped runner, car 74. The Tim Morley and Anthony Reid Dolomite is in 9th place, and 10th place the Watts and Cowley Mazda. Well, what a fabulous race that was, and give them all a big wave as they come back, ladies and gentlemen.